Today, the Nashville Sound make their first ever NBA Finals appearance in the year 2028. But before we get into that series, I think it's important to take a step back and ponder about the journey that got this team here. The Nashville Sound began as a basketball organization in the year 2023 when they were announced as an expansion team being added to the association. The expansion draft brought together a hodgepodge of young, potentially intriguing prospects that the front office, as well as first-year coach Gordon, was hoping that could at least bring out a couple of rotation players, but much as you'd expect from an expansion team, year one didn't quite go so well, and the Sound had the worst record in all of basketball. The plus side of that, however, was it did land them the number one overall pick in the draft, and it was a great year to land that number one pick as hometown hero Sidney Lowry was available in that draft. A guy born and raised in Tennessee, went to the University of Tennessee, was able to stay in his hometown state with the Nashville Sound, and that put a lot of pressure on this young man's shoulders to be, first of all, just the first ever draft pick by a franchise taken at number one overall, as well as, playing in front of a group of fans that had really known who Sidney Lowry was since he was just coming up through high school. And he was going to have to put this brand new franchise on his back. Unfortunately for the Sound and for Sidney Lowry, year one of that new rebuild centered around Sid the Kid did not go very well, as in year two, the Nashville Sound had the worst record ever recorded in basketball, winning only 8 out of 82 games all year long, 8-74 the record, and no other team had lost more in a single season in NBA history. Sidney Lowry certainly showed plenty of promise in his rookie year, but there were also some holes in his game, and he couldn't lead an expansion team all by himself in his age 19 season. But fortunately for the Sound, once again, they would end up with another top pick in the draft, getting some lottery luck once more, this time landing the number 2 overall pick, where they would select forward Andre Stevens out of the University of Virginia, a national champion the year before, who showed the makings of somebody who could come in and make an early impact, something that the Sound desperately needed. Never really had the upside of a guy like Sidney Lowry, but he projected to be a guy who could make an impact in many areas and make them early on in his career. The Sound would also trade back into that very same first round to select Christian Davidson, much more of a project player than a guy like Andre Stevens, somebody who was very raw but showed the potential to really make a name for himself in the league as somebody who could score the ball very efficiently and at a high level. And the Sound were hoping that this pair of first round picks could propel this team a little bit further into the rebuild and show some hope for the future, and that they certainly did, as in year 3 the Nashville Sound finally were able to show a bit of progress, no longer being the worst team in basketball. Now, they were still not really competing for a playoff spot at this point, but for the first time there had shown some progress in the rebuild, really centered around the progress made by Sidney Lowry from year 1 to year 2, making a big jump in his play. The future would soon look even brighter as the Nashville Sound would go into their third ever offseason with the number 1 lottery odds, courtesy of a trade made with the Clippers, alongside their own number 6 lottery odds, in a draft that promised to have a lot of promising prospects, particularly at the point guard position. Ultimately, the Sound would get unlucky in the lottery, landing only picks 5 and 7, but a huge trade landed them up with the number 2 pick in the draft, along with that number 5 selection they had earned on lottery night, and the selection of Malachi Pope and Francis Mullins, a dynamic duo from the national champion Duke squad that really shored up what Nashville needed the most. Somebody that could dominate the interior at that center spot with Mullins, as well as somebody who could be a plus in terms of setting his teammates up in Malachi Pope. And these two having a connection heading into the season already, having played together at Duke, helped these two rookies make massive impacts in their first year at the pro level, as the year 4 Nashville Sound made a massive improvement. Again, seeing big improvements from their superstar player in Sidney Lowry, as well as the second year class Christian Davidson and Andre Stevens. But this rookie duo helped be the glue that this Nashville team desperately needed, and it propelled them to the number 4 seed in all of basketball in the Eastern Conference, at least for the NBA playoffs. However, the Sound would get the short end of the stick in terms of who their first round opponent was, drawing the Detroit Pistons, who many argue to be the most talented team in basketball, only at that 5 seed due to injury, and ultimately the Sound would fall in 7. Now, the foundation was clearly set for the future of this team after that 4th season, and only minor improvements needed to be made, but the front office wasn't going to sit on their haunches and decided to improve around the edges as much as they could, hiring coach Quinn Snyder over Oliver Gordon, who had been the coach the previous 4 seasons, to help improve this team's playoff performance. And they also traded Patrick Baldwin, one of only 2 players remaining left from that 2023 team, to trade into the back half of the lottery and select Lamond Powers, an athletic forward who flashed two-way potential in the draft, hoping that he could maybe be the final piece that could fit alongside the star-studded starters that the team had already selected. And that offseason plan would work out to perfection, as Nashville would land the number 1 seed in the East, going up in round 1 against a tough Boston team, but they would handle them 4-0 with a Jaylen Brown injury. A few more problems would present themselves against the Cleveland Cavaliers, blowing a lot of second half leads, but ultimately the problems wouldn't be too much, as Nashville would win in 5, landing them a date with Darren Anthony and the Indiana Pacers, the reigning MVP. Anthony played great, but overall Nashville didn't have too many problems with the Pacers, fixing their defense and winning in 5 once more. San Antonio, on the other hand, had a much more difficult road, nearly not even making it out of the first round against the Timberwolves, needing all 7 games to beat them. That would land them up against the Trailblazers in round 2, the number 1 seed, who they would handle in 6 games. And then we just saw last episode that this game took down the Clippers in Game 7. If you take a look here at the team stats page, it's pretty easy to explain why it took so many games to get to the finals. Let's start here with Victor Wembanyama, who is scoring 30 points per game and 15 rebounds in the playoffs with 2.3 blocks and also over a steal. Absolute menace. Dante Wright is averaging 18 points per game for the Spurs. Wallace here, defensive menace, but still getting them 8, 5, and 5, kind of a stat sheet stuffer. Little bit of a do-everything kind of guy for him. Patrick Williams, averaging the fourth most minutes, mostly for his defense as well. Hammonds, 10.5 and 5 is pretty good. Keldon Johnson, kind of in that similar mode to Hammond. Damian Paul, really good playmaker, averaging 6 assists a game despite only starting 2 of their games. And Kispert is, of course, very good shooter. Zach Collins is a solid backup center. And then the last guy that really gets much run is Nick Burtz, who averaged 10 minutes a game. And now we see Sheldon Starks here, who of course is the reigning number 1 overall pick, only has played 4 games. He has been injured all the way through to the Western Conference Finals. They're just getting him back. And then Josh Giddey, as you're seeing, he's not injured here, but has not played any playoff games. He just came off the injury report. And so that's 2 of their best players. You also consider Trey Murphy, who is still hurt with a torn Achilles, but I mean, 2 of probably their best, at least 4 players have played a combined 4 games in the playoffs, and they still made the playoffs, and they've just gotten healthy. And so this team is very resilient. I mean, they're very deep as well. No player below 79 overall gets playing time for this team, which is really good depth that you rarely see in 2K. And they're getting healthy at the right time. And this is a very scary matchup for the Nashville Sound here in the finals. So let's talk about my opening strategy against the Spurs here. Minutes-wise, we're going to keep things exactly as they were to end the Eastern Conference Finals. I liked what I was seeing from the rotation then. And then in terms of individual assignments, we're going to do a couple of things here with Victor Wembanyama, of course, making sure Mullins is his guy. We're going to try to deny him the ball. He is just so incredibly dangerous. We saw that when we played him in the regular season. If you missed that episode, I actually wouldn't recommend watching it because we got blown the heck out and it was all Victor Wembanyama. Stay attached always. And then we're going to try to do this 3/4 top coverage in the post. This should theoretically force him baseline, keep him out of the paint when he gets fed these post touches. As it says here, we are susceptible to the baseline drives, but I really like this positive that we get from this coverage here. Limits immediate paint success. So we're going to try this. If it ends up being a disaster, I'll change it quickly. And that's really kind of the only individual adjustments. Besides Wembanyama, it's not a ton there to worry about, I think. When Giddey gets healthy, like I said, he's not projected to start game 1. So he's probably on some minutes restriction tonight, but maybe he'll start by game 2. But when he does play, I want Sidney Lowry on him. He's their second best player. And then I'm having Malachi Pope guard Sheldon Starks. Now, Pope is smaller than Starks by about an inch and about 10 to 15 pounds. But our alternative would be Lamont Powers. And I'm just worried about that 68 lateral quickness of Powers going against somebody whose base position is actually point guard. He's just playing small forward this year so that he could get more minutes. So we're going to start with Pope. If it becomes a problem, we'll switch it. But Starks isn't even projected to start game 1 either. We're going with a little bit of a surprise lineup in game 1, which we'll talk about in a minute. But with everything set in terms of game plan, let's get ready to start game 1 of the NBA Finals. So let's get game one underway here at the Dollar Tree Arena in Nashville. The finals officially tip off with San Antonio winning the tip. Wembanyama going to take the first shot quickly here. He is fouled with the free throw line jumper, and he's going to now get a couple extra attempts at the free throw line. Malachi Pope getting in the ear of Wembanyama and perhaps forcing the miss there on that first free throw attempt. Andre Stevens, the first to shoot here in the game, and he splashes home the three. Spurs looking to feed Wemby in the post. Turnaround shot is good, and when are we going to get a break? Being able to not get some of these bigs that could just make these unguardable shots is my question. Wembanyama, no good there from the elbow, but Patrick Williams on the board. Definitely a size mismatch against Pope there, and he took advantage. Bowers on the other end misses a three. Not sure that's the shot this offense is aimed to create there as Kispert misses one on the other end. Mullins quickly shoots it up over the top of Damian Paul, has about a foot on him, so like that attempt for sure. Wallace off the handoff, finds space for the mid-range shot. Mullins, strong take inside, he gets it around Victor Wembanyama and draws the foul. He'll go to the line for the and one. That will knot this game up at 7 apiece here, and I like this from Mullins, getting aggressive, going against the big-time center. He's not afraid. He's been going against good bigs all postseason long. Lamont Powers brings in that rebound, and now we've got Mullins with another attempt in the post, but he kicks it to the corner. But Lowry misses the shot. Wembanyama off dribble, drains that one. Double screen coming from Malachi Pope. He tries to shoot it over Wembanyama. That's not gonna work, pal. Wemby's got quite a bit of size over you. You can't just shoot right in front of him. We're gonna settle for a bad three off the offensive rebound as well. Wembanyama driving in on Mullins. Banks in the layup. Malachi, not a great start shooting-wise for him. Now 0 for 3 to start. Damian Paul, pick and pop, and we foul a jump shooter for the second time already here in this game. Can we just stop fouling these shooters, please? Patrick Williams earning himself 3 free throws, and he gets all of them to go. Malachi going against Damian Paul, and it's stripped right out of his hands. An ice-cold start for our starting point guard, but Powers, a nice job getting us the ball right back. Sidney Lowry, he steps out of bounds on that drive. Wembanyama with the defense. Here he gets the ball. And we force him baseline out of bounds. There's that post coverage coming into play there. We force him baseline with that coverage. We force him to step out of bounds there. Nice defense from Mullins. Turning into the Sidney Lowry 3 on the other end. Wembanyama stops and pops. Hits again. He's hit a few shots now in that area. Malachi staying patient. This time floating in a 2. Good to see him find one going down the basket there. He needed that, but some poor transition defense off the make leads to a wide open Kispert layup. Spinning is Mullins, but he can't find an open shot inside. Stepping inside is Victor Wembanyama, and he has been living in that mid-range here today. San Antonio leads 20-13. Larry from deep. Off the mark for 3. Wembanyama now rushing it the other way. He pulls up. Nobody near him, but he missed it. Looks like we're trying to run a play for Sidney Lowry here. Doesn't like the initial look. Pump fake, draws the jump from Victor Wembanyama. Sweet up and under from Sid the Kid. Williams rattles out on that three-point attempt. Now Mullins has it in the corner. Dishes to Andre Stevens. Too strong on the long ball. Wemby in transition finds Corey Kispert on the wing for three. Mullins has it at the elbow. Finds Andre Stevens inside. Nice pass. And we get the and one from Andre the Giant. Sweet play there between our two big men. Sheldon Starks checked into the game, as has Josh Giddey. Was wondering if he'd get any runtime, having just come off of a pretty serious injury. But he does get some first quarter action here for San Antonio as Lowry missed the shot. Nice defense from the rookie Sheldon Starks. Number 2 overall pick in this last draft. San Antonio leads by double digits here with 2.5 minutes to go as Davidson kisses that one off the glass right over the hands of Victor Wembanyama. That was a nice finish. Pick and roll for the rookie. Missed that mid-range jump shot. Now Lowry with it. Getting the ball. Finding space off the dribble to pour in a triple. Isolation attempt for Starks. He's going against Christian Davidson. That seems to be the matchup that the Spurs like with this lineup. Good defense by Davidson, but it won't matter. A tough shot by Sheldon Starks, who's now in defense against our superstar. He's playing nice defense as well, but both teams kind of getting away with some late shot clock cheese here. That one stolen away by Moses Moody, who just ran in front of that pass. He's running it the other way. Davidson, quick three, no good. We're under a minute left here in the first quarter. Wembanyama, defended by AC Stevens, finds the cutting Josh Giddey, who gets fouled. Just a beautiful feed from the big man. Giddey hits the first free throw. I'm sure San Antonio fans are happy to see him make his playoff debut here. But he splits the shots from the charity stripe. No good from Sidney Lowry there. Sheldon Starks off the catch. Good defense by Moody to close the space. Lowry, as he always does, seemingly at the end of these quarters, dribbles right into a defender, but somehow still gets the shots. And that will end the first quarter. Nashville down by 4 here after 1. Wembanyama, a serious problem that we just could not find an answer to. Here we start the second quarter. Mullins gets fouled on his jump shot. That's number 2 on Wemby to start the second quarter. That's something to keep our eye on as we can force Wembanyama into foul trouble. I think that could be a very big advantage. Pretty much every time Victor Wembanyama is off the court should be a major advantage for us. And as we can see, it's quite difficult to stop this team when he's on the court. So anytime we can get with him off of it, be it foul trouble or, tiredness, would be a big win for our team. Here in transition, Nashville gets a man inside. That's Christian Davidson. 2-hand flush plus the foul. That'll tie this game up at 30 apiece. Davidson completes the three-point play. Also gives Nashville the lead. Hammond's in the post, finds Victor Wembanyama. No good. Mullins has a mismatch in the post. He's going against Sheldon Starks, but he missed the shots. San Antonio didn't send any help. D, you got to make that shot. Mullins. And the Spurs get a nice transition basket. Mullins this time going against Wembanyama, and it's snatched away right out of his hands. Victor Wembanyama showing just why he is so dangerous in this league. My goodness. Feed inside to Mullins again. A tough shot, but he hit it. Impressive make after just getting snatch blocked the previous possession. Rattling out that jumper is Wemby. Catch and shoot for Mullins. No good from beyond the arc. Giddey with it now. They find Sheldon Starks wide open from the mid-range. That ball movement from the Spurs, reminiscent of their previous title core, which was, of course, so fun to watch. And there it is. It's Wemby's third foul here with still 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. And so they will take him out. These are the minutes that we have to absolutely dominate the Spurs. There's nobody else above an 81 overall other than Josh Giddey on this team, and his minutes are restricted, and so we have to build a lead here. Let's remember, we were down by 2 when Wemby exited this game. Let's see what we can do in the non-Wemby minutes here as Francis Mullins missed that initial attempt, but got this second chance opportunity. Here he's getting a block. Swatting away that Keldon Johnson attempt. Malachi the other way, taking it in aggressively, and a great sequence by our Sound. Gives them the 2-point lead. Ball here. Driving on Malachi Pope. That one's blocked by Ernest Augustine. Johnson on the board, but great defensive effort from Augustine on that one. Pope beating up a bit with that mid-range jump shot. Now, that's Kason Wallace, on the inside. Nice drive. Going against the much bigger Mullins, but shielding him away with his body. Nice cutting play on the other end for the Sound. Gives Sidney Lowry a very easy basket. Ball from deep. Bricked that one. And now Lowry's going to splash it in on the other end. Now Nashville leads by 5. This is exactly what I was hoping for. When Wemby checks out, we have to start building a lead against these guys, and that's exactly what we've done. In transition. Spinning shot for Ernest Augustine. I could do without that one, if I'm honest. Off the screen, Williams fires it. Offline. Lowry with it, defended by Kispert. Playing some solid defense. Lowry attacks again, and the patience pays off for him. Patrick Williams left all by his lonesome top of the key, and he's too good a shooter to leave that much space. Some fancy moves by Lowry. He takes a tough fadeaway jumper. Mullins would have loved to see him actually shoot that one up, but he tried to get the extra point. Just didn't work out for us. Catch and shoot for Kason Wallace. No good. Lowry with it. Kispert caught going under some screens. Now Nashville's lead is 9. As Kispert missed that 3 from the wing. 50-41 is the score. Mullins spin shot, but Collins holds defensively. Here he gets the shot. Shot clock winding down, and he gets the late shot clock cheese for 2. Lowry. Another 3 and another good look. And he has heated up from beyond the arc in this second quarter. Nashville leads by 10. Williams missed that long ball. Here we swing it to Christian Davidson in the corner. Just off on that one. Williams. Deep shot, top of the key. Somehow that one missed. Stayed on the rim for it seemed like ages. Davidson gets another shot, and this time splashes it home. Collins needs to come up with something as a pass to Damian Paul, who drills that 3 top of the arc. And under 30 seconds left in the first half. Lowry finds Ernest Augustine for the 2-hand flush. Beautiful feed in stride to give Augustine a chance to finish with some flair. And that'll be how we end this half. Beautifully done. We go from down 2 to up 12 in the minutes that Wembanyama was off the court. Exactly what I was hoping we could accomplish. And Sidney Lowry was a big catalyst for that. He turned things on in a big way there in the second. And here we see Malachi Pope maybe on some triple-double watch, perhaps. Don't know if he can keep the rebounds up for two halves, but I would love to see it happen. And on the Spurs side, I mean, Wembanyama, despite being out for most of the second quarter, is already at 13 points and 11 rebounds. Shooting just 6 of 11, though, which I feel like is pretty solid. What we're holding him to, I like the defensive strategy that we've implemented here early, for sure. Giddy stat sheet stuffing in his limited time so far. Starting the third quarter with a triple is Malachi Pope. Ball finds a cutter. That's Kason Wallace with the flush. Malachi looking for 3 more here. This time it's no good. Wallace feeds Wemby in the post. He's shooting quickly over Sidney Lowry, who forced the initial miss, but second chance, Wemby gets it done. Pulling up is Malachi on the baseline for the easy 2. Damian Paul kicks it to Patrick Williams at the last minute, but is swatted away by Andre the Giant. He's pushing things forward. Lowry, pull-up jumper, no good. Would have loved to finish that play. It would have been a 6 sequence. Mayama, no good on that one. Rattled around the rim. Lowry, excellent look here from the wing. And you know that one's falling in. Ball. Had it stripped away momentarily by Pope, but it falls into the hands of Wemby. Mullins to Lowry. Couldn't quite get his feet squared up that side. And it's a miss. Spurs passing it around. Another nice ball movement possession there for them. Lowry banks it in there from the wing. You love to see it. Wemby feeling the help defense. Fires it to the corner, but Kispert can't finish the play. Mullins with it. Forced to pick up his dribble. Nashville needs to come up with something. They find a pretty decent look there for Pope, but no good. Wallace once again found on the cut. Seems falling asleep defensively a little bit on Wallace. Off ball as a pick and roll leads to a nice finish from Sidney Lowry. Williams, he's been left all by his lonesome a few too many times, I feel like, in this game, and he's making us pay for the most part. Pope, I don't know what he was doing there. Missing a mid-range, I guess what he was doing. Wemby with a miss of his own on the other end. Here's Malachi. And then when he was wide open, he decides not to shoot and tries to force the entry pass when the Spurs were doubling it. And Patrick Williams with the and one on the other end. Foul comes from Ernest Augustine, but that one was really on Malachi Pope. You certainly had some ups and some downs here in game 1. But that's what you'd expect from a second-year player, trying to have a big role in the offense and in transition. San Antonio scores again, and all of a sudden, our lead's down to 6. Mullins, a little bit of a reverse spin there, spinning towards the basket, kind of like a half face-up, half spin. There's a block on the jump shot by Malachi. Beautiful defensive play there, and it's going to lead to a Sidney Lowry 3. Nashville back up by double digits. Ball almost blocked again. Malachi stepping up his defense here and finding the big man with the mismatch early on in the shot clock, not allowing San Antonio to adjust. Nice bang shot by Victor Wembanyama, who feels like he could attempt a layup from the free throw line if he wanted to. Kispert, top of the key, too strong on it. Malachi finds a cutting Sidney Lowry. That one's blocked. It almost got blocked into the basket by Patrick Williams after the initial Wemby block. That would have been hilarious. Here Wemby scores 2. 3 minutes left in the third. 79-68 is the score as Sidney hits the tough shot from the mid-range. Wembanyama isolating and finding a cutter. Damian Paul. We've been allowing these guards to cut just a little bit too much here in the third. Isolation attempt for Lowry. The double comes. We swing it out. Find the open man in the corner. Davidson, no good. Kason Wallace did a nice job rotating there to at least get a semi-decent contest here as Paul finds An and one opportunity. He completes that one. The lead's cut to 8. Davidson, nice. 3 off the catch. Wembanyama, isolating against AC Stevens. Our backup center has had himself quite a tough playoff run, I must say that. It's not entirely a fault of his own either. We just keep facing all the best bigs in the league, it feels like. Wemby pulling up and hitting over AC Stevens once more. Pick and roll for Malachi. Bounce pass into AC Stevens, and he's blocked. Malachi was more open than AC on that one. Maybe trying to draw a foul from Wemby, I suppose. Under a minute left here in the third. In the corner, Malachi scores a triple. Big 3 there. Puts us back up by 10, but on the other end, Damian Paul draws another foul. Spurs have really found something here in the quarter with these cutting plays from their perimeter players. Down under 5 seconds left, and Sidney Lowry does it again. This time not dribbling off his own defender, but doing a bounce pass inside. And so we will take an 8-point lead into the final quarter of this game. San Antonio not leaving, but we're not really allowing him back in. We've made it semi-close a couple of times, but we've never fully let them back in. Let's see if we can keep that up here in the fourth. As Davidson will start with a miss. Wemby, no good on that one. Davidson, another 3-point attempt here. Not a very good one at that. I don't know why people are trying to shoot over the top of Wemby. It's not going to work. Nice steal by Mullins. In transition. Davidson with a nice finish. A nice find by Malachi as always. Bang shot from Wemby. We're sending some help defense. It just doesn't matter with this guy. He's so long. What a finish! Going baseline is Francis Mullins. Showing the acrobatic ability there. I mean, wow. Here's Mullins with it again. Inside. Puts it up for 2 more. Starks with it. Defended by Malachi. That's some strong defense. 2 highly touted point guard prospects coming out of the draft as Malachi misses an easy look. Giddey left some space on the perimeter, but I think there are worse things we can do, although Giddey has become a pretty good shooter here in this series. Wemby on the drive draws the foul from Mullins, who's on the ground wondering what he can do about that, honestly. Pick and roll. Malachi finds Ernest Augustine, who slams home another basket for him. Down to 8 minutes left. Half spin by Wemby. Oh, that is nice. High screen and roll. Malachi to the rim, draws the foul. That is number 4 on Victor Wembanyama. Not quite in foul trouble yet, but if we can get one more on him, things become interesting. Wemby pull up again, and again he hits. Sidney trying to fire over the top of Wembanyama, and again we just don't learn our lesson there. Mullins missed the putback as well. Kisper finds Patrick Williams in transition. Now our lead is cut to 9. Andre Stevens just gave up the Williams bucket, gets that one right back. Victor off the inbound. Lamont just left his man in the corner. Don't tell me we're going to start double teaming outright, because we all know how bad that is in 2K, as Sidney Lowry, only up 4, just gives the ball back to San Antonio. Wemby can make it a 1-bucket ball game, but he missed it. Things are kind of turning up San Antonio right now, but Lowry there with a huge triple. Put some momentum back in our favor. brick there by Victor Wembanyama off the dribble. Now we're trying to feed Francis Mullins, but we're just forcing the hand a little bit too much there. We've had a couple turnovers. Just take what the defense is giving you. Mullins finds the wide open man in the corner. Powers started heading down the court before that one even dropped. He knew that one was good. That's his first points of the day, and we foul a jump shooter again. Why do we keep doing that? Wemby gets 3 free throws here. I mean, I know he's a tough guy to get a good contest on, but don't foul him. He's a good free throw shooter. He's going to hit those. Andre Stevens left wide open, and he drills the 3. Now we lead by 8. Ball, pick and pop with Williams. He's got tons of space. And with that 3, we're going to watch how this one plays out. The final 4 minutes of a 5-point ball game here. Game 1 of the finals. Mullins on the drive. That one floats in for 2. Taking advantage of Wemby maybe being a little risky there defensively. Now he's bringing the ball up. Isolating. On the right side of the court. On the drive. Mullins staying in front nicely, and he's forcing the miss. Nice defense from the big man. Now we go the other way. Lowry. Oh, loses case on Wallace with the step back. That was smooth. And a big shot from our superstar. Ball nearly went for a backcourt violation there. Here he gets a tough look from 3. I mean, Pope was right there through the screen. I'm liking what I'm seeing defensively from this team down the stretch. Going up top, not a great look there for Francis Mullins. Spurs trying to find something quickly here, but the transition defense was good by Nashville. Now Paul has a pick and pop with Wemby. Going inside. Great defense by Pope, but it doesn't matter. He gets the finish anyway. Powers with it now. Waiting for somebody to get open. He's going to give it to Sidney Lowry. Lowry back to Powers. That 3 is off. Would have been a massive shot. But that's exactly who San Antonio wants shooting the ball right now. Wemby, top of the key, gets the double team. But the pass was high enough to allow the rotation to get there. Wallace, no good on the in-between fadeaway jumper. We're down under 2 minutes remaining. Malachi with it. Gives it to Mullins. He's got a smaller man on him. It's Corey Kispert, but he steps out of bounds. Mullins has had a really weird day against mismatches in the post. He's just not taking advantage of them as consistently as we're used to. Spurs passing it around. It's in the hands of Wemby. He's pulling up beyond the arc. That one is off. Now the Sounder slowing things down. Setting things up for Lamont Powers for a 3. That's surprising, but he hits the shots. Forcing the San Antonio timeout. The second 3 down the stretch for Powers. The unlikeliest of heroes, although I don't know if it's 2 threes is that heroic, but they've been massive shots for the rookie who, with 5 minutes remaining in this game, had 0 points, but 2 big-time threes are making a big-time difference in this one. Wemby, pick and roll to Kispert off glass. A quick basket for San Antonio, just how they need them at this point in the game. Malachi brings it up court. We're down to a minute. Off the screen, Sidney Lowry drills the triple, and that might just be the dagger, and it will be. The Nashville Sound will win game 1 here at home against the Spurs. Spurs made a couple of maybe mini comebacks, but I like what I saw from the team to never let the runs get out of hand, always keep their foot down on the gas. And this game one victory is always led by Sidney Lowry. To 123 to 111 is the final score of this one. 45 points and 5 assists on 27 shots for Lowry. Mullins puts up a 20-point double-double. Malachi with 18 and 13. Andre Stevens with 13 and nearly a double-double himself. Davidson did a nice job scoring, and then Powers was really good throughout, and then the final 5 minutes put up those 6 big-time points. All around a great team game for us. Wemby with 43 and 20 with 7 assists, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. He was a +4 in this game, and they lost by 12. Just like I said, we need to take advantage of when Wemby's not on the court, and that proved to be massive today. Collins was a -16. And that, I think, is going to be a major theme throughout probably this series, is that the games that we're going to win, we're probably going to need to dominate when Wemby's off the court, because it is hard to dominate the Spurs when Wemby's playing. I got to be honest. Giddey ended up with just 15 minutes tonight. You have to wonder if that will increase as this series goes along. You got to think it will. And that'll do it here for game one. Nashville takes round one. And in terms of game two, I am currently planning on streaming game two on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's been a while since I've streamed some Nashville Sound, and I want to get one game that, it's not going to determine the outcome of the series entirely. And I know some of you like the streams, and so that will be the plan. That's all I've got for this episode. And until the next one, sound up, baby. Let's go.